we're either going to get a deal or it's going to be unfortunate for them. I would think that would be enough time, 10, 15 days, pretty much maximum.
The US President Donald Trump has issued a stark ultimatum to Iran: reach a meaningful nuclear deal within roughly 10 to 15 days or face bad things, a phrase he's used repeatedly to signal severe consequences, widely interpreted as military action. This came Thursday during remarks at the inaugural meeting of his new Board of Peace in Washington and later aboard Air Force One, where he told reporters, "We have to make a meaningful deal, otherwise bad things happen," adding that you're going to be finding out over the next probably 10 days, and clarifying that 10 to 15 days was pretty much maximum. You may ask, what exactly does Trump want? He insists Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, must halt uranium enrichment beyond civilian levels, dismantle key parts of its program, curb ballistic missile development, and rein in proxy groups like Hezbollah and the Houthis that the US views as threats to regional stability in Israel. This goes far beyond the old JCPOA framework that Trump withdrew from in 2018 during his first term. Recent indirect talks, the latest round this week, mediated through third parties like Oman or in Geneva, have been described as somewhat positive on guiding principles, but officials on both sides admit the sides remain far apart on core demands. Iran has rejected direct negotiations and insists on sanctions relief first, while viewing US terms as regime change disguised as diplomacy. The timing ties directly to escalating tensions. Last summer, in June 2025, the US and Israel conducted airstrikes that hit Iranian nuclear sites. Trump has called them a success that decimated Iran's capabilities, but clearly not enough in his view. More recently, widespread protests in Iran were met with a brutal crackdown, killing thousands according to some reports, which Trump has cited as justification for stronger action, including hints at supporting regime change. Oil prices have spiked on the fears, and Russia has joined Iran in naval drills in the Gulf of Oman, adding another layer of great power friction. Diplomacy is hanging by a thread. The US has kept channels open indirectly, but the military posture screams pressure. The Pentagon has surged forces in what analysts call the largest US air and naval presence in the Middle East since the 2003 Iraq invasion. The USS Abraham Lincoln carrier strike group has been in the Arabian Sea near Oman for weeks, with about 80 aircraft and escorts. Now the USS Gerald R, the Navy's newest, largest carrier, is transiting toward the region, having activated its tracking system mid-Atlantic and heading through the Strait of Gibraltar into the Mediterranean, potentially arriving in the Eastern Med or nearer to Israel soon. Accompanying this are dozens more fighter jets redeployed to bases in Europe and the Gulf, additional destroyers, submarines, air defenses, and support ships. Officials say the full force package could enable sustained operations lasting weeks, not just a one-off strike. Iran's response has been defiant. Tehran called Trump's comments a real risk of military aggression and warned it would retaliate decisively against US bases in the region if attacked, likely via missiles, drones, or proxies hitting American forces in Iraq, Syria, or Gulf allies. Satellite imagery shows Iran fortifying sites like Parchin with concrete shields against airstrikes. Russia has warned against escalation amid the US buildup. Possible consequences if it tips to military action: a limited strike might target remaining nuclear enrichment facilities, missile production, or command nodes, similar to but larger than last summer's hits. But escalation risks are high. Iran could close the Strait of Hormuz, spiking global oil prices dramatically and hitting economies worldwide. Proxies might attack US troops or Israel, drawing in a wider conflict. US casualties are possible, and a prolonged campaign could entangle America in another long Middle East war, exactly what Trump has said he wants to avoid. Markets are already jittery. Oil is up on the rhetoric alone. On the flip side, if Iran blinks and offers concessions in the next 10 to 15 days, it could de-escalate, though many analysts doubt Tehran will fully capitulate under duress. Trump has framed this as coercive diplomacy, maximum pressure to force a better deal than before. But with no final decision announced yet, and military sources saying readiness could allow action as early as this weekend if ordered, the next week and a half is extraordinarily high stakes.